Good afternoon, everyone. My name's David Hart, and this is Mark McDermott, and we are from ScreenCloud. ScreenCloud helps companies realise the value of screens, and we're here today to talk to you about connected spaces and how some of the fastest growing companies at the moment are releasing value by connecting their systems with their physical spaces. Investment in innovation is growing, and it's growing fast. In a recent Accenture report, they said that of the top 1,000 companies, almost a third of them are increasing their spend in innovation by at least 50%. Unfortunately, a lot of them aren't getting any kind of ROI. And in fact, those companies that are increasing their spend by a significant amount are still underperforming their peers in their industries. So what's going wrong? Well, according to the report, too many companies are thinking about innovation in the abstract rather than it being there to solve real organisational problems or create real organisational value. In effect, they're purchasing the technology, but they're not using it to its fullest extent and then trapping value as a result.
Your organisation already holds vast swathes of information within it. The problem is that most of that information lives in silos. So that could be in your CRM, your HR systems, accounting, and even reporting. But what needs to happen is to unlock that hidden value, is to connect those systems and then start to surface the information from within so that more people across the organisation can benefit from it. So why do silos happen in the first place? Well, there's several reasons really. Firstly, only some users have access or the training or knowledge to actually get in and use those systems. And secondly, when they do want to go in and seek information, it's usually on a mission-driven request, such as writing a report for your team or giving an update to your boss. And finally, once that report has been generated, they overuse communication channels such as email, or if I disagree with my friend here, word of mouth, which doesn't scale brilliantly in order to communicate. This can create a toxic, no one asked me, no one told me culture. So how can screens help? Well, if you hadn't already noticed, screens are everywhere. The problem is they're just not used very well. But we believe that if you were to surface that information automatically up onto screens, apply a degree of business logic across the top, you could show the right information to the right people at the right time. This non-critical but fundamental information can then be more passively absorbed into the people in their environments, rather than ignored in the silos in which they currently live. And finally, screens can influence their environments and create better experiences. Put simply, when you put things in public display, they become more accountable. So what are the high-growth companies doing right?
Well, firstly, they are change-orientated. The fast-growth companies they're focused fundamentally on how changes to technology is going to change the organisation and the way they work, rather than sort of tinkering at the edges. And they see kind of investment in innovation as a vehicle to creating genuine company-wide benefit over small incremental improvements. So let's take a simple example. An advertising agency wants to change its paper-based method of meeting room bookings to a digital one. In itself, that's kind of cool, I suppose, but it's not really, if that's all it does, replaces paper with an app, then it's not really probably going to be worth the investment. However, if they can apply some rules based on the systems and the knowledge that the agency already has, they can change the way their spaces work and the environment and the experience for those people in those spaces. So let's imagine an advertising agency, they've got a pitch coming up and they book a meeting room for their client to come in. Straight away, we know from that effect of booking that meeting room who the people are that are coming in and what time they're coming in. So when they come to reception and sign in, there's a welcome message there already for them. But we know more than that as well. We also know who those people are from, and we can do a lookup and find what industry sector they're from, and then reference that to any case studies that the agency might have sat in their Dropbox, and start showing those case studies in the lobby at the same time too. And then if you think about the actual meeting itself, whilst people are getting ready and plugging themselves in, again, there's data there that we can pull in and surface and make the space more relevant. So, for example, we could show profiles of the people attending that meeting, their job titles, etc. But also we could just show the agenda for that meeting. And all this happens as a result of a simple effect of booking one meeting room.
Secondly, those companies are outcome-led. They use innovation to deliver against long-term strategic goals. They pick tangible North Star metrics by which to measure their success, and then they communicate those objectives, values, and metrics constantly. In effect, they're identifying the key influencing factors that are going to support success. So let's look at an example. A high street bank identified its North Star metric as customer satisfaction. They correctly also identified that in order to influence high levels of customer satisfaction, they needed a highly trained and engaged workforce. So on the screens, they took a feed of internal training programs, showed overviews of what was available, the benefits of being on it, and also social proof from those who had been on those courses and had actually found tangible improvement. And they threw that alongside the actual North Star metric, the customer satisfaction score, to show the causal link between the two. And finally, they are disruption-minded. They recognize that changing work practices will give you an edge over your competition. They empower employees and departments throughout the organization to come up with those innovative ideas, and that is supported from the top down through ways such as internal innovation boards or just the mission and values from the CEO in their all-hands meetings. The key takeaway here is that they turn initiatives that have potential into reality faster to show their commitment towards innovation. Let's have a look at another example. We're working with a major US mobile phone carrier who are trying to completely reinvent the way they approach retail from the front of house all the way through to the back. Now, how we're supporting them is by putting screens into the back office which act as information portals to the employees before they go out and talk with their customers. On those screens, we're showing real-time sales metrics, benchmarking data of how that store is performing against its district or region, but we've gone further too. We're taking feeds from HR, who are showing employee benefits and internal messaging, and likewise from headquarters, we're taking mission and value-driven content from the CEO through YouTube Live, tweets, and other messaging that's coming out, showing training videos on how to objection handle difficult customers, as well as giving a heads up towards the campaigns which are coming for Thanksgiving today and also for Christmas time. It's having a remarkable impact. What we're actually replacing, unbelievably, is out-of-date whiteboards and pieces of paper stuck to the wall with post-it notes. With this information, employees are much more empowered with what they need to do every day, and that's being rolled out across all of the US.
So the three things we'd really like to leave you with today are the most successful companies, according to the reports, are looking at innovation not in a peripheral way. They're looking at it at absolute core to their organisational objectives. And importantly, the initiatives that they're putting into place are there to benefit the company-wide rather than just the few who are managing that technology internally. And then thirdly, to really release value, we need to remove that data from the silos and make it visible. So we are ScreenCloud. We're on a mission to change the way organisations communicate internally using screens. If that's anything that interests anyone here, we would love to talk to you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.